right. Hello and welcome to Business and Lahles Session 10. First thing that we always do, go around the table, see how everyone's doing. Start with Onyx and Kadir. Which of you would like to go first, since you both share your mic?
I'm fine, thank you. I had a week of PTO last week, so I'm gonna call this a week of recovery,
I had a pretty busy week.
getting back to real life.
Yeah. Well, it was also nice to play the new Jackbox game last night. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty hype. I like it.
Yeah, anybody that would ever want to play that, look into it. It's a great game.
Was a riot.
Yeah.
God damn it, though. If I had a nickel for every time somebody answered the blather round prompt on the first throwdown.
Trace, how was your couple of weeks?
Good. Nothing special, really. So.
Krev?
Good. Just busy with work and stuff.
And Wreck-It, I saved you last because I know your weeks were busy.
Yeah, so my son, Finley, was born last week, Tuesday. So we have a little baby now in the house. So it's getting used to that. I'm on parental leave from work until mid-December. So that's nice.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well,
Congratulations.
yes,
Yeah.
congratulations, and I'm sure that you're looking forward to at least a little bit of relaxing time.
Yeah. It's a different kind of stress from work for sure.
All right. Well, let's get through the recap and go ahead and get into tonight's game. So, we last left our adventurers as they began by slaughtering ogres and bugbears. Once the battle was won, with the collection of the enemy's wares began. Once loading their new gains and sparing one bugbear's life, of course, after tattooing a penis on its face, by knocking it out and then continuing towards Mito. You each ride a couple of hours away from the battle, and when Jeeves calls out that it's time to make camp for the night, taking care of the horses and the food for the night as each of you begin your rest. That night, Kadir finds himself surrounded in a fog, the rest of the party sound asleep, and as a voice calls out to him with one phrase, so close. Following the voice, Kadir finds himself lost in a dense fog. As the voice continues to call out to him, he continues on. But as the fog clears, Kadir finds himself at the entrance of the Void Heart tomb. And just as the realization sets in, he begins to shake violently, closing his eyes. But as Kadir opens his eyes, he sees Jeeves and Onyx waking him. Kadir had fallen asleep during his watch and chose to stay awake the rest of the night. As everyone awakes the next morning on April 8th, each of you continue on, soon making your way into the desert north of the Nyansima Mountains. And after walking through the sand dunes for a few hours, some palm trees are spotted in the distance. And after making your way to the top of the last of the sand dune, an oasis rests before each of you. What appears to be an abandoned house surrounded by water and palm trees. A bridge is spotted to the west, although it's very old in its appearance. Trace decides to swim across as Onyx, Krev, and Kadir make their way around to test their luck on the bridge. Meanwhile, Wrecked rests upon Drago, watching and taking everything in. But as each of you make your way towards the house, Trace notices some sand being forced up from something burrowing underneath the surface. Kadir uses some arcane tricks, and eventually the burrowing creature reveals itself. A snake, seeming to be encased in iron. After leaving some of your after learning some of your weapons are having no effect, the tactics are swapped, and once they are, the creature stands little chance. We jump back into the game just after slaying this iron snake, as it's April 8th, year 1101, and we're nearing 6 p.m. So some of the smoldering iron still kind of burning from Rekid's snake bites and some of the other arcane arts used upon it. It is just giving off a little bit of smoke from the heat that's still applied to the iron.
Well, hello there. Yeah, you are what a wonderful specimen. I have not seen one such as you for such a long time. Let us see how you work. I would like to go up and inspect the construct. See if I can find its power source.
All right, give me an investigation check.
I will guidance myself for
What
this
is it
as
that's
well.
going on? What was that thing?
Metal snake of some sort.
20.
Dear, as you kind of like lift some of the iron plates and begin to inspecting the inner mechanics of this creature of whatever sort, you'll notice that there's a bunch of gears turning upon themselves, or I should say were turning upon themselves since they are not moving anymore. And as you're giving it a little bit of a more of a once over, like pulling the parts farther away, revealing more of its inner structure, you can see what appears to be a mechanism of water.
Do we even understand what gears and stuff are? Like machinery? Like, is that something we would... Like, is that, like, futuristic to us? Would we even know what that is?
I would say for most of you, probably. Kadir is a little bit more familiar with these things.
Yes, possibly the work of gnomes. They are renowned tinkerers. These kind of machinations are somewhat, well, they are uncommon to us, but not to all places, I will say. So this water mechanism in the middle, could I identify? Is this like a battery or like a core that I can pull out?
You can attempt to.
I'd like to try and extract it.
All right, and as like you pull it out, it takes a little bit, and it gives you a little tiny bit of resistance, but just giving it enough oomph, you hear it snap, and then you'll hear a bit of steam kind of escaping from some of the pipes that it was attached to, and you just hear. You'll notice as well the water is still pretty warm to the touch.
Is it rusted or anything? Is it old or... Can we tell?
It's definitely a little older. Got a lot of sand in it.
Well, let us hope it does not have any new friends, shall we? To the house, perhaps?
Yes, I'm curious if a gnome lives here. Or lived here. Maybe
Does-
these were...
Does the house appear to be gnome-sized?
Yeah, is it shorter? Like...
No,
yeah.
That's a good question. But no, it does not.
Yeah, it is. I didn't even think to ask that.
Because one would notice that, right? Because the gnomes are like a third of a human size, right?
I think they're 3 to 4 foot.
Okay.
Half, roughly.
Yeah. Oh, will still be a major difference in the way you would build the house, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you
Instead of-
all going inside? Should I take care of the horses here?
Yes.
Right
Should,
away, Master Trace.
Good.
We should check out the house.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over, like, see if the windows are, like, you can see anything in through the windows, etc., etc.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'd like to do perception too.
Sure.
I
Please do.
I guidance trace.
Thank you.
I will
Perception, no?
guidance persuasion myself.
Persuasion.
perception.
Persuasion yourself.
Perception.
Oh.
Ew. I couldn't have been a 1, so I could have re-rolled it.
You do get a D4 trace.
Yeah.
Ooh.
14 still, though. That's not that bad.
No, it's not terrible. It's not as good as Krev's, though.
Mine 11.
As you both try to look through the windows, you're just kind of met with your own reflection. They seem a bit darkened from the inside, possibly covered in some sort of material. Maybe the curtains are shut, but when you try to like press your hands against the glass, trying to block out the light, you're just met with darkness.
Where are the doors on the building?
Right in
Kinda
the
hard
front.
Like the south? Okay. I wasn't sure if the front was like over here or something.
Yep, our cardinal south direction.
But like, looking at the windows, even though I can't see anything inside, do they appear to be well kept? Like, are they cleaned and so on?
The outsides have got like a little bit of like sand residue, kind of perched up along like the windowsills. A couple of them are cracked, but just very minorly.
We don't see dust on the inside though, do we?
Nope, I mean it's too hard to tell.
Mm-hmm. Shall we
Knock.
knock?
Yes.
Nose goes.
Well, all right. No one else. I'll knock.
Exactly where's the door? What end?
I think
Right
he
in
said
front of
right
Krev.
here. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to take a step back here and, like, ready my bow.
So I will knock and then back up to give them space.
So, as you give a little bit of a knock, just doof, 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 you'll hear and kind of see the door just open ever so slightly from the force that you applied to it.
Oh,
It's about 6 inches.
guys,
Open.
the door just opened when I knocked. Either it's obviously unlocked, but it was unlatched rather.
I'm
Is that-
kicking the door in.
And as you do, the door actually like kind of breaks where you land your foot, and as like a piece kind of flies across the room, the door is completely open.
We yell FBI as we run it. No, I'm kidding.
Well, thank you, Rekids. We are going to die of old age out here.
Oh, I mean, knock knock.
I'll knock on the door.
It's over there. It's over there now, but
And I'll knock on the door and lock eyes with Rekid.
Well.
Alright. So, with just like first glancing in, with like the light kind of peering in just a bit, you're met with just an empty house. There's little bits of sand beginning to trickle in from the wind, but you don't notice anything from this angle.
Very well. After me, then. I step inside.
I guidance myself.
Same. And we're teleported to Whominster.
Oh, that's very strange. Well, so everyone enters or what?
So as you go in, can each of you give me a active perception check now?
Sure.
I'll go in last.
14. Nice.
23.
Nice.
I re-guidance.
So, Kadir, Trace, and Krev so far. I need, and Records, I need one from Onyx. If you're going inside and taking a look around as well. Alright, easy enough.
Nice.
All good rolls. Unfortunately, Rekid, there's just one little thing that you're missing. As everyone appears into the room, just finding it to be empty. There are some stairs that lead up to a second story, and practically nothing else. Just worn furniture, seeming to be a run-down, abandoned house. But
Are we supposed
Kadir,
to-
Trace, Krev, and Onyx, you do notice a slightly discolored few planks of wood that are kind of hidden behind this broken, or below like this broken table. Just kind
Are we
of
supposed
half
to see the
peering out.
inside of the house right now?
Nope.
Okay. Just making sure we're on the big map.
I'll point it out to the rest of the group. Perhaps someone here has a crowbar.
Oh.
It seems that perhaps somebody decided to hide some goodies before they left.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Yes, I do.
Well then, after you, good sir.
All right. What are we looking at here again? Is it a chest of some kind, or?
Oh, wouldn't it be thieves' tools?
Well, I have that too. But...
Well, I mean, you can. I mean, well, theoretically speaking, if it's locked, you can still pry it open. It just has like a different kind of check with it. But at this point, it's just what appears to be some planks of the floor, kind of half covered by a broken table.
All right. Do we want to lift these planks up, or?
Quick, before Rekit decides to punch the floor in.
All right. I grab the crowbar and start lifting up the planks. Well, I guess we move the furniture off first, right?
I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, allow me. Just fucking chuck it to the other side of the room.
Yes. Let's move the furniture, and then if somebody's strong man, maybe they would like to do this.
Does it appear that the furniture has been moved around a lot?
Besides the broken table that Rekid just threw, nothing.
Okay.
In fact, like when he kind of throws it and like the table hits, this is like when you'll see like a good amount of dust just kind of up from the
So-
impact.
While he's doing that, I'll strike up conversation with Rekit. So, judging by that table, I must presume you are an angry drunk?
Oh, I'm not drunk. I'm just hot and sweaty and uncomfortable. I thought it'd be a little better in here, but not so much.
I need a strength check from whoever's trying to pry it open with the crowbar. I believe it was Krev.
Sure.
Usually it's I think it might be athletics. I'm not sure.
Well, strength and athletics are relatively the same unless he's got proficiency in it.
Yeah, I don't, but I mean, does the crowbar give me like advantage or something?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, okay. Can I guidance myself? with
Sure.
it? Alright, cool. Don't know if it will add to this, but yeah, I'll just roll athletics, it should.
Oh my god.
Neat.
You're like, and it just slips from underneath it. Perhaps you didn't get it like at a good angle, but it was giving way. Just not that much. If someone is proficient, we'll say with athletics,
Yeah, I am. I think I might
give
go
them
one.
advantage or roll it yourself.
Trey steps up.
I gave you the crowbar to.
Move aside.
Sure. Not really my thing, anyways.
Oh,
You gonna guidance?
I do. I guidance him.
16.
So, as you kind of pry, you hear, and the wood has pulled from the nails that are placed in the flooring from like the post that it rests upon. And when you look, it's still fairly dark, being kind of like obscured from the vision, but you can see what appears to be a hatch hidden underneath these planks.
Oh, I'm going to investigate the hatch and see if it's locked.
Well, after taking a little bit of time and removing the rest of the
Alright, yeah, go.
planks, then give me an investigation check once you unveil the rest of the hatch.
I'm really bad at that.
I'll make investigation with guidance.
Oh.
Do.
Well, I don't know anything about that hatch.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure it only leads to the underworld.
I'll open it.
Or perhaps even the spooky basement.
When you're kind of taking a look at it, Trace, you're just like, yep, it's more floor. It's definitely
Oh,
not a door.
Is that bad? Okay, I found out.
No, I'm just playing with you. Kadir, after kind of rummaging about it, taking a look, placing your hands upon it, and trying to open it, you will see that it's, or feel that it's locked.
Ah, yes. Well,
Well, lockpicking is my wheelhouse, though. I'll try to lockpick it.
I'll give you advantage and guidance.
Wait a minute. Oh, right. I'm not going to lockpick, mostly because I don't have a lockpicking set.
Well, if you want me to, I can do it.
Sure, you do it.
Wait, I'm not gonna do it, mostly because I don't have the tools to do it.
Yeah. I'm very good at
That was a
lockpicking, but I
good
don't,
excuse.
but I
I'm
don't have
gonna-
lockpicking set.
I am gonna guidance though.
Alright. I also advantage you.
Hi, nerd.
Oh,
Or
well.
not.
Oh,
27.
Could do better.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
could have done
I could have rolled a
better.
20. I could have rolled a 28.
And
I see.
I mean, this is just a simple lock that you're quite familiar with, and within 60 seconds, you've got it done and open. No problem.
Cool.
Well,
Yep. Guys, it's ready to go.
And as
Ready
you look
when?
down, you'll see that it's wooden stairs, and you'll hear like a draft beginning to come through, and you'll see that there is quite a bit of sand built up upon each step.
Oh.
So are we just going down, or should we check out the rest of this floor first?
well. Why not go down?
I tried to like focus my senses and smell. Any kind of smell coming from down there? Rotten, anything, animal-like.
Give me a perception check.
Guidance you.
I should get a guidance macro.
You do not smell anything. It just smells like a bit of like mustiness, but just from like the stale air that
Well,
was
I-
seemingly trapped.
I take out a copper coin, cast light on it, and throw it through the.
And as it like ping, ding, 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 makes its way down the wooden steps, it will just into some sand about 15 foot down.
I can't see anything.
Just what appears to be a tunnel leading to the west.
Interesting. And this the what is it, a ladder down? Is it stairs, or
Stairs.
would they be snake friendly?
Anything snake friendly.
I do not believe stairs have opinions on snake trace.
I mean, would they be comfortable for a creature without legs to move up and down on?
Well, if the snakes can move under sand and we're going under the sand, I can only presume.
That's fair.
Perhaps Krev is right. Maybe we should check the rest of the house out before we go anywhere else.
Somebody's home, and we're just going into their basement.
Yes, yes.
Well, I would be more concerned about the table and the door in that case, but I see your point.
And
Well.
the floor, I guess, at this point, huh?
Yes, might as well just tear it all down.
It's going to be explaining why we've unlocked their hidden trapdoor if we do encounter somebody.
Well, I'll go check out. I'd like to do a once over of the house, just see what's in every
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
see
kind of
what's
what
in
I
every
wanted to-
room.
Same. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was getting at.
With there being 2 rooms upstairs, the main things that you'll see, like as you're going through everything, is just more abandoned, old, dusty rooms. One thing of significance is actually in the master bedroom, or what you assume to be the master bedroom, seemingly since it's seemingly larger than the previous one you were in. There is a bed, and it is kind of neatly tucked in underneath the mattress, as like the quilt and the sheets have been pulled over, and you see a fairly large lump covered by the blankets.
Oh no. Who's this that's seeing it? Is it me or?
I guess both of you. I thought both of you were going
Yeah,
together.
well,
So
I wasn't sure if we were together or not, but I kind of like I point, like put my hands up, like what do, like just
I approach it. Primal savagery prepared.
so as
high guidance you.
your nails grow longer, if I'm remembering that correctly from last session.
Yes, they grow longer and
You approach.
kind of like steal themselves.
And all is still. You can hear the water from the outside, kind of in the distance. But whatever is underneath these blankets has not moved.
I grab the blanket and pull it off.
You are met just face to face with some type of humanoid skeleton. Laying over its chest is a symbol of Deanna.
Is this a small humanoid, like a gnome?
No, it's approximately 5'5", 5'6". Average human height.
Can I investigate the amulet, flip it over, see
Sure.
if it has any inscriptions, scrawlings?
I'm gonna ritual cast detect magic.
Okay. So Kadir, give me an investigation check.
Uh, 14.
And so it's like you kind of try to pry it from the skeleton's hands. You just kind of like snap a little bit of a bone, and you can see it kind of just hanging on the index finger as it's just kind of shaking just a tad, and you remove the holy symbol, and as you like take a look over it, the only thing that's on it is just the rune of the Dawn Mother, or not the Dawn Mother, Deanna, the goddess of death.
Ah, interesting. I will add this to the. I will add this to the party loot for now. Perhaps this is of some value. I'll also flip the. I'll flip the bed over to see if there's anything hidden under it, or like something, or maybe like a stash cut into the underside.
Sure. You like flip the bed over and crash the bones on the ground, and as you kind of just hear him like, tick, 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 tick. Sounds like a Halloween xylophone. As they all clink together, and like as you kind of inspect the mattress, there's just looks a bit moldy. You
Uh,
can go ahead and give me an investigation check from there.
Sure. Oh, that's gonna be a good one. 23.
Sealed tight.
All right. Well, very well done. So, I guess we're going spelunking.
Yes.
I'll return to the room. I'll mention this amulet. What's it look like it's made out of?
Silver.
These, does it have a gem set in it or anything?
Nope. Just like a little carving, like an engraving.
These. I found this holy symbol on a dead skeleton upstairs. The irony is not lost on me.
Unlike an alive skeleton?
Well, to be fair, all skeletons are dead, but no, it was dead.
Okay.
Good question.
It was dead.
I'm assuming he was the skeleton before you found it.
I would hope so. Otherwise, he had a very bad time. I will not proclaim myself to be so powerful as of yet.
I point at the amulet and say, magic?
Perhaps. Krev is upstairs casting detect magic at this moment. I am sure he will be down shortly.
Yeah, Krev, finally, when you're done detecting magic in the room, you don't detect anything.
I'll head downstairs and regroup, and
Nothing.
nothing on the amulet. Okay. Is there any other rooms up there upstairs, or is that it?
Nope, just the two.
Okay, and the other one was like empty. Okay. And what about the rest on the first floor? Are there any other rooms we haven't gone in?
Nope, the first floor is just like a vast open area. A few
Okay.
little support beams, but nothing major.
All right, just
But-
one big living, like a
Yeah,
studio apartment kind of or something. Yeah.
Trace quickly goes upstairs and looks at the skeleton.
Yep.
Any chance I could determine the cause of death?
At this point, with them being kind of bunched up after Kadir has tossed them off the bed, say, would that be a nature check? Or no, go medicine check.
Nature,
Survival?
medicine, survival,
Yeah.
maybe.
There's definitely a lot of
Oh.
options, right? I would say go with the medicine.
15?
It seems to be natural causes.
Okay.
Obviously, they're not a gnome though, so either they were uniquely a tanker, or maybe they were not the one. Anyways, should we go down the trapdoor now?
Oh, Anakin was the one, to be fair.
Well, true, but who's that? No.
So,
All right, I guess let's open up the trapdoor.
yeah.
A quick question. I haven't really
Mhm.
to determine this. Is anyone else in the party like an up and close combat type?
When I shapeshift, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Yes. Onyx. She's a little bit cutty.
I cut with my soul.
Ooh.
Yeah, Trace is a melee bow guy. Gets up close and uses a bow. No.
And I can hit twice, you know.
Well, I have preference for range, but I have other options at this point. But I believe you would be one for small, cramped, dry places. Perhaps you should go first.
Just one quick question before we go down. Can I still see the coin?
Yep, just like kind of half buried in some of the sand at the bottom, but you can still see
Okay.
it.
Just did the quicksand test. Quicksand test. There we go.
Quicksand.
Ah, yes, but we'll have to wait much longer for the slow sign test.
Yes.
Yeah?
All right, shall we?
Yes, I don't want to waste my detect magic time.
No, after you.
Open
I'll go.
up the door.
I'll go second to last before Trace. I'm presuming who would go last.
So is
Yeah.
wait, is Rekid heading first? Is that what you were trying to say? Is that why you were asking?
Yeah, because I was too certain. But it sounds like we had options. But yeah, I don't mind volunteering because I also have a pretty high AC at the moment.
All right, cool. So I open the door for you and let you head down.
I
follow him.
cast light on what? I cast light on a I guess a copper coin, and I give it to Rekid.
Or on his
Yeah.
shield, maybe.
I don't have a shield.
I thought you had a shield.
No.
You can put it on his quarterstaff.
I
Right.
kind of like this concept of the coin though, because I'm thinking Rekid might be like flipping it through his fingers, kind of like
And
Jack
you
Sparrow
can
style.
add a copper coin to your inventory.
Oh, shit.
He's rich. I mean,
I have become-
other than where you're at right now, Krev, just so you're aware, obviously the only magic sense that you're detecting is the light on the coins.
Sure.
Sorry, but I just wanted to make sure that.
No, I hate missing things like we've already done in other games.
Forgets
yeah.
one time, we'll never forget again.
Yeah. Hence, you gave me those damn goggles, and actually, I had the goggles that time and just didn't use them. That was my dumbass fault. All right. What do we see down here?
It's like the cave continues, eventually where like the dim light kind of starts to fade out. It's just a long cave, seemingly stretching for miles as far as you can tell.
Oh. This island's not that big.
Yeah, we must be deep enough to have gone under the water as well.
So, do we want to take bets about what we find down here? I personally am betting on giant snake cult.
Very possible.
Dragon.
Do we
Ah.
think they're all mechanical?
I was thinking more 1T giant snake, not iron giant snake, but that would be a good bet, perhaps.
Well, the ones we fought earlier bled, so we know they weren't mechanical. But
My bet is 3 goblins disguised as a larger vampire.
Well, I suppose if the future follows history. Thinking
there's
back, can I make a religion check related to Deanna?
Sure.
Is it a commonly followed religion, or does it have any like fanatical elements to it?
Give me your check.
And D4, 10.
So
Nothing
for-
great.
From what you've heard, Deanna is the goddess of death, and a lot of people that you've conversed with just have like mixed feelings about it. When you've kind of done a little bit of research at like the temples and reading, some believe Deanna bringing the balance between life and death and keeping a natural order, while others finding her to be a more slightly evil god, and those following her footsteps to not be trusted. Quite a bit of mixed feelings of the god. goddess.
All right. It's good enough for me.
Yeah, she would.
Are there any turnoffs in this cave, or is it just a straight? You know.
It's just slightly descending, slower down, and eventually, as you guys continue on, you'll see like support beams that are creaking as you make your way, sand falling from the roof, and you just are continuing down a long, long tunnel.
Is it stone, the tunnel, or is it like wood crafted?
Mainly wood.
Mm-hmm.
I touch the wall. What does it feel like?
So where there is no like beams or any supporting structures for the tunnel along the wall, it's just sand that's kind of uh, like cold, very cold to the touch, and seemingly very well compacted.
Isn't it all humid down here?
No, it's a little chilly actually as you're continuing down.
If we're
Right.
underwater, let's make sure we don't destroy the structure while we're down here.
If we were underwater, then it would be leaking through the sand. This doesn't quite make sense.
Unless there's, structure around the sand.
Let us continue before we judge.
The only worse thing than drowning is drowning in the dark.
Yes,
I
that's
thought you were going to say drowning in sand.
It's coarse and rough and gets everywhere.
Into our undercarriage.
So
Should we tell Jeeves what's going on?
We told him we're going in the house.
you told him to tend to the horses. You're going inside.
All right.
I'm sure he will be fine unless he isn't.
My horse.
Rest in peace, Brago.
So,
But
we're
I mean,
following
other
it.
than like continuing down this tunnel for what seems to just be hours on end, with no scenery, nothing to kind of lay your eyes upon, and everything just looking
No.
identical as you make your way through. Eventually, you do begin to see some light at the end of the tunnel. With the
Natural light or
That's what it appears to be.
how long have we walked?
Well, by the time you make your way to like the end, and you'll see from like the position of the sun, it appears that you have been walking for just a little over an hour. The sun
Oh.
beginning to position itself off to the west, making its way towards the western horizon.
Well, that was a quick jaunt. When we reach the end of the tunnel, what do we see? What do we see?
So, as you all appear out, um, gathering up, finally being able to not feel so cramped, you see, first off, a lot of sand still being in the desert, and what appears to be some destroyed stone buildings.
So we went down the tunnel, but did we ever come back up? Like, do I feel like the distance we went down was equivalent to the distance we went up?
Yeah, it was a slight grade, but it was relatively the same.
Okay. Well, What an interesting situation we've happened upon.
Yes.
This. So, do we see the sky where we are?
Yep.
Just okay.
It's like I said, the sun's beginning to set, so the light's kind of slowly retreating, casting shadows beyond like these destroyed walls as you see like the large wooden door laying in the sand, broken from its frame.
I presume we're starting on the left.
Yep. Right at the entrance
Alright.
of this little cave mouth. You can place your tokens there if you wish.
Well, I prefer not to.
Okay. But as you guys start to have your eyes adjusted and kind of covering up the lights from the coins, can each of you give me a perception check?
Perception. Ooh.
So, as you all kind of like peer through like the where the wooden door lays in just west of its frame, way off in the distance to the east, you see a what appears to be a stone and disc-like structure has a chest laying upon it with two swords impaled into the stone behind it.
Well,
And it's dark, you say?
It's like dusk.
all right. I'll touch the end of Rekid's staff with light spell. Well, fearless leader,
Let's do this.
I am sure everything is completely fine here and not at all trapped or.
Well, Trace is definitely stealthing and staying away from the light radius of Regget's staff, so he's invisible.
I think Rekid will perform the role of bait / distraction. So just kind of walking up through here.
You performed it well so far, and you've been rewarded with high dice rolls for your health on every level. But making your way, you can begin to see. Ooh, it's not giving me the reveal. 1 second. There we go. The path open up. About a 10 to 12-foot wall is kind of broken with no ceiling upon it that lays before you, just directly to your east. The chest that was mentioned before, just a little to the south of that structure.
I uh, could I turn my eyes towards towards the gate? Do I see what broke it?
Just looks old and rickety. Probably time.
Do we see what's over? Okay.
Yep. Slowly doing it. Do 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 do.
Trace is going to, like, as he stealths around, he's going to, like, quickly look at the ground to see if there's any tracks, except, of course, those from Wreckett and
Yeah.
Kadir.
Give me a perception check. From a bit of a closer angle and looking over near Reckitt's position, you'll see quite a few burrows of that you had seen outside of the house. Mounds being pushed up, zigzagging in and around and underneath this stone circle.
Oh,
I'll make a noise to get Reckitt's attention,
Hmm?
and then use minor illusion to create a giant arrow that's pointing at this door.
Do I sense any magic coming from this area here with the chest?
Ooh, good question. Let me just
Would-
double check something.
Would that still be active? Weren't we walking for like an hour?
I don't know how long it was.
Well, it was over an hour. I figured he'd
All
be
right.
doing it
I-
again.
I would just do it again then. Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm sure we have time. It sounds like so.
Alright. So, if you wait the 10 minutes, everybody.
Yeah.
Sure. Trace is just going to stay over in this corner with his bow out, being ready.
I'll poke around the inside of this house, see what's in here, or what I'm assuming this building.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Why didn't it go? Oop. It
So
didn't even roll.
just looks like a bunch of trash, just nothing but ruins. Whatever was here, it's been long gone. But at this moment is when I'm going to need each of you to roll me initiative
Oh boy.
as another. Let me pull up the turn order for you.
Nice.
Another iron cobra comes up from underneath this stone circle, and then and it opens up its mouth. You hear the gears kind of grinding that Kadir had pointed out before, and it strikes at you, Wrecked.
Oh.
Where is it?
Around here.
Oh, okay.
Here you go.
Just popped out of the sand.
Yep. And this would have been before your detect magic has gone off.
Well, I guess I'm just gonna keep casting. No, I'm kidding. You guys got this.
60 rounds later.
I know, right?
Okay, I'm gonna turn down the music on Rhythm Bot just in case this is super loud. Ooh, got to see some free art. You're welcome. And I believe. Let me put this right over here. I owe you a roll So it's a 21 to hit you,
Yeah.
Rekid. And as its fangs sink into you, it will deal 5 piercing damage, and then I will need you to roll me a Constitution saving throw. And as its fangs sink into you, you feel this pulse begin to be forced into your veins, and you will suffer 20 poison damage.
Ooh,
Oh fuck!
Ouch.
Nani!
That was a lot of max damage rolls.
Nani the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it's random, but that's what it landed on. I'm sorry, bud.
Oh, good.
But that will start us out at the top of the turn order with Trace. I'm sure Rekid took it like a tough soldier that he is, and the monk training has paid off. He didn't even let out a sound.
Because it bit me in the mouth.
I thought I bit him on the dick or something. That was a lot of damage.
Is this the beast? Like an animal?
I'll let you give me a intelligence check.
Like 11?
You're unsure. It
Well,
resembles
then,
one, but no animal you've ever seen has looked like or been made of iron.
I'm just going to hold my action and shoot if anything non-iron like appears. And that's my turn.
Kadir.
All right. I'm gonna do my traditional thing. I'm gonna use a spell slot to cast Hex on it, and then Eldritch Blasty Blast. And then I'm gonna sing Snakebite by Gonstaff. I'm not the one who's so far. Anyhow. So it's telling me I did 16 damage, which is some good numbers right there.
Oh yeah, it's a max damage roll.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? I get to add a d6 to that.
Yeah.
Make it 19 damage.
Unfortunately, you missed.
What?
I'm just kidding. Ah. And you connect solidly as you see like this piece of iron just fing, and ricochet off and ting, against some of the stone walls behind it. And that's a good damage roll, by the way.
Yes, it was. The thing is, it said it rolled the d10 and it looked like a 1, so I thought I rolled 1.
I thought it was too. Not gonna lie. I think it actually just had a 10 on there.
It did, yeah.
Anything else?
Nope.
And it is going to do the same thing and attempt to bite you, Rekid.
Darn.
Oh no.
For a
What?
10.
Oh, thank God.
Hooray.
Why don't you dodge?
And then this is when you'll begin to hear and as it rings out echoing between these ruined stone walls, these doors just to your north side will break, and before you will see another very odd looking creature encased in iron, just as the snake is, and it steps forward.
I warned you.
Well, I was holding my attack action.
For anything that didn't look like iron, but yes, you can use it if you'd like.
Well, it doesn't look like iron, does it?
Yes, it does. It's encased in iron, just as the snake.
Oh, I might as well test it. I can't do anything else.
Oh, and that's
Well,
a
that's a
crit.
natural 20. Hey, you should be testing this more often.
Does it do damage?
You can only hope.
And
17.
as the... There you go, thank you. I was going to say you needed to roll a double, so that's 17 plus 15 is 32.
No. There's one of them. I don't know why I rolled twice.
17 plus 7, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 17 plus 7 is 22. Thank you. This iron doesn't seem to be cast as well as the snakes, and you find a nice open spot as it sinks in, and you can see a bit of steam shoot out from the back of it.
Oh, right. I've got sneak attack.
Ooh.
So,
Your sneak attack is... Don't you have to have the advantage or the...
I have advantage. I assume... I mean, it's dark, right?
It's dusk.
Yeah, so I'm a Gloomstalker, so... I mean, I assume that the lights and darkness to see me. And I was hidden anyways, right? I stealthed to the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume I had advantage, so yeah.
I
Plus
just wanted
9
to
more
double
damage.
check if it was from that or from like the 5 feet, like assassin. But
No, I'm not assassin. No.
it has let out a decent like plume of steam out of its back as you've struck it with a nice true shot from your arrow or from your bow.
Nice. Well, I'm going to stay where I am.
Looks like this one's actually getting injured too. That's nice.
And unfortunately, that is it for its turn. Already used all of its movement and its stuff to break down the door. Krev, it's your turn, bud.
Do I see that this thing's pretty mangled looking? That just came in after that.
It wouldn't be your standard definition of mangled, but from the amount
not-
of steam that's coming from it, it gives you the assumption that it's not doing too hot, didn't?
Right. Well, let's make it hotter. I'm gonna cast a Great Bonfire on it. I must make a dex save of 15. I will link it. I don't know if it's gonna roll the damage or not. Whatever. Well, that's the damage if it fails.
Dex save on the new guy. That is a 5.
Takes 7 fire damage then.
And how does this look? As it becomes encased in flames and it's enough to take it out.
Well, his he just gets super hot and burning, and his CPU just like melts through, and like just his he just can't keep up with it with his heat sinks just can't handle it. They just melt, and he just falls apart and just kind of steams and falls over. Just like
Alright.
an overclocked computer that couldn't handle it.
Every time I see someone cast create bonfire, I always think of like cartoons when you see a cartoon character standing in fire.
Yeah.
I always imagine it looks like that.
And as this one begins being encased in a bright red color, as the iron parts of it begin to just like shake, you'll see them slowly begin to like get molded into like different or manipulated into like different shapes, and then you'll hear a loud as a nice plume of steam comes from its back, and then it falls forward into the sand.
And that's all I got.
All right, Reckon.
All right. As much as I would like to take my revenge out on this thing, I know I'm currently unable to damage it. So instead, I will use the help action to give advantage to Onyx.
Thank you.
Alrighty. You try to pull the snake's attention towards you. You can just maneuver around it.
That's
Both
true.
can have advantage.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting you do the
The flanking rule.
yeah. Okay. That's true. I guess then I could. I mean, I know it's not going to do anything, but I can.
Still have
Take
an
it.
action dodge or, you know.
Oh, that's true. That's not a half bad idea actually.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take the dodge action.
Potentially save yourself some HP, and you'd still apply the advantage that you're looking for.
Yeah, thank you for that.
You're welcome. I know it's something that you weren't used to, which is why I wanted to give you that friendly reminder.
Yeah.
But Onyx, it's your turn now.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to attempt this.
20 hits. As you slash your rapier towards it, it connects with the iron, and you'll see a bit of sparks kind of just shear off of it as it fing, and bounces off, and you get a slight reverb through your rapier as well. Kind of feeling it connect into another solid iron object.
Okay, my second
Let 'em-
attack.
I thought that was actually the same exact roll, but 23 hits as well.
Oh, I have 2 attacks. I'm doing dual wielding.
Yeah, I thought you rolled another 20 and a 13 from the advantage.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No problem. I was just like, damn, rolled the same exact thing.
23.
But better on the damage. That's nice. As you connect again with your other rapier, and it lets off a bit of sparks as well. Fing!
Do you have the dual wielder?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
I did
okay.
it
Okay,
level.
that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
That was like one of the other reasons I wanted to make sure everyone was updated, since everyone had gotten level 4 for feats.
I updated mine.
Yep, just so I was
I
aware. Is that it for your turn, Onyx?
Yes.
All right, and then back to you, Trace.
Going to hold my action yet again for anything that appears to not look like. Well, for any enemy to appear that's not the one we're fighting now. And that's it.
Not gonna shoot it?
It was immune to my arrows last time. I'd rather be ready for something new coming up, so
All right.
I'll do that again.
Good dear.
All right. Eldritch Blasty Blast.
Nice.
Nice.
Uh, with another D6.
D6 from the curse.
17 total.
Oof.
Jesus. Getting rickety wrecked.
That modifier is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's that Genie Warlock thing or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it is still holding on by a few of its iron parts as you shoot off another few of the iron plates just over Rekid's head.
You're also rolling really well on your d10s. but-
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that it for your turn, Kadir?
Yep.
All right.
See no reason to move yet.
Bringing us to the iron, and as it follows you, Wreck-It, it will again just lunge at you. This one is for a 21 to hit.
At
Ooh.
disadvantage.
Oh yeah, that's correct. Thank you for reminding me.
Wait, did you dodge?
I
Yes, you
did.
did.
You
Because-
took my advice.
Yeah, because instead of the help action, I suggested that he just move around to do all the same stuff. The disadvantage got it to be a 15.
Hooray!
That'll play.
And that misses you.
Yeah.
And as the snake just, as you kind of like dodge out of the way of its bite, it'll just kind of go head first into the sand. And I guess it's trying to do an ostrich impersonation. Hopefully, none of you see it. Krev.
I move my bonfire to the snake. Dex save if whatchamacallit. What was it? Let me pull it up again. 15.
6.
Oh, yeah.
I think that one was a little bit better, but
Yeah. No, 4 fire damage.
all right. And as the iron plates begin to become a red color, it will take some fire damage.
Do you have 20 wisdom?
That's what I took at level 4.
ASI for Wolfheart.
Yep.
Or
Forgot to
Krev.
have level 4 again.
I had 18 at level 1, so
Hot damn.
yeah.
Is
I got
that it
lucky.
for you?
Yep.
Wrecked.
Hmm. Now that I'm close to these anime swords, does it look like they're kind of stuck in there pretty hard?
I'm sorry, you were a little muffled there. I couldn't understand you.
I was saying, now that I'm close to these anime swords, do they look like they're stuck into the podium pretty hard, or do they look like they might be easy to pull out?
If you are going to check it out, that will require your action for this turn.
Hmm.
Like, depending
Am I
on,
close
like,
enough?
I think if, like, just a quick look, like, they're sunk in halfway, but to get, like, a better estimation, you're going to need to, like, go over there and mess with them for a few seconds, which will take your turn.
Yeah. And be careful. I mean, if you pull out one sword, you might become the king of England. That's a possibility.
If you pull out the right one.
Yeah.
As in the correct one, not, like, the one on the right. You get it.
the
Never mind.
decoy. Yeah.
If you pull out the wrong
Oh.
one, you just become the jester, you know? Like,
I think I will just continue dodging.
it's probably smart. We can do this after the fight. Like,
I was thinking about draw a sword, maybe it does damage.
well, yeah, but if you're
Lightning
proficient
bolt.
and you might not be proficient with it, like
me, my one weakness, death.
my one weakness stuff.
Is that it for your turn then?
Yeah.
All right. Onyx?
I'm just gonna take the dodge action.
All right.
That's it.
Trace, same thing for you then?
Let's see. You know what? I'm going to fire an arrow for the sake of argument.
All right.
Oh, it's a 10, but also 1. so
Falls
it's in-
short.
Yeah.
For the sake of the argument, I guess it'll go unproven now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a mystery.
Well, that's my turn.
All right, Kadir.
can probably guess what I'm gonna do. Yep, that's right. I'm gonna cast Wish. Or I'm gonna cast Eldritch Blast.
I thought you were gonna really be sarcastic in the beginning and just say Eldritch Blast, but I was gonna joke around and say take the dodge action. Unfortunately, that misses as well.
Wah wah.
Just going
Right.
wide to the left, connecting with the stone ruined wall just behind, or just to like Rekid's north, and you shatter a bit of the stone. You hear it like kind of crumble.
That max damage though.
Again, yeah. Perhaps someone would like to help me here.
It is flanked. I don't know how that is. That melee only?
Yeah.
Like, how does that work? Okay.
Melee only. That's it. Kadir, just want to double check.
Yep.
All right. And rinse and repeat for this creature. Going for you yet again. Focusing on the same target, Rekid. And the disadvantage, giving it an 11 to hit.
Hooray!
And disadvantage paying off. Or the dodge paying off for you, I guess I should say. The
Yeah.
disadvantage not paying off for me.
I'm doing a great job as.
Haha, can't hit me. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Can't do too much of that song. Krev, it's your turn.
So it ends its turn in the fire. It needs to make another save
Yep.
for the bonfire. If it fails, it takes 2 damage.
It is a 12, which is still a fail.
So 2 fire damage. And then now it's my turn, and I recast the create bonfire, so it needs to make another save. Like, just the flames get bigger, I guess, you know?
Ooh, this is a 16.
Oh man, I actually rolled good damage. That time it saves.
The iron plates are still getting brighter red in color,
mhm.
but it seems to have just maneuvered its way around it,
Gotcha.
dodging as the
Yeah.
flames grow higher.
Yeah, that's all I got for now.
Making this easier, Rekid and Onyx, are you all gonna do the same thing?
Yeah.
I just had a thought actually. So I noticed that Onyx's damage took effect, right?
Very little, yes.
Whereas my damage was completely irrelevant, right? Last time before
On the
I hit.
last one, yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do something a little unconventional. I'm going to throw a dart. Which from this range would be disadvantage, but oh wait, I don't get the flanking thing for that, do I?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's fine. Whatever. So disadvantage dart attack.
Yep. Give me a dart throw.
Womp womp.
It just
Oh, that would have been good damage too.
being kind of pulled back from the heat from the bonfire. Krev created your throws a bit off, and it doesn't find purchase.
Good. That's all I got.
All right, Onyx.
I mean, I take the dodge action again.
All right, just want to double check.
Yep.
Trace, just holding.
Now, I want to hit it once, just for the sake of argument, so I'm
All
on the
right.
fire again. Black.
And it hits.
Does it do anything?
As it like sinks in, see a bit of steam kind of off from its side, and you'll see a bit of water beginning to leak from it. but it's still twitching, just a little bit.
Oh. It appears it's damage though. But I've got sneak attack again. Jesus Christ.
Oh well, then that'll be enough.
1.
Like I said, it'll be enough. It had 1 HP, but as it kind of like shakes just a little bit, it'll eventually stop and kind of just begin to like become in a slight petrified state as it curls up, still being encased in the flames from Krev's bonfire.
So when in fire, we can hit.
Well, with that, I know it's just a tad early, but let's go ahead and take our break here and then ride it out for the rest of the night.
All
I
right.
have to pee badly. So
We'll be back in like 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes at most. I'll say 10 minutes at most, just because the baby, in case
Yeah.
you need to do anything.
Yes, I must go kiss the baby.
I must go kiss the baby. All right, be right back.
The Beeb.
I would
So
All right, and we're back. So just after slaying these, or more of these iron-like creatures, constructs, mechanica-like things that you've kind of discovered now, uh, still like the walls are kind of breaking apart from the Mist Eldritch Blast, and before you is still the chest and these two swords.
retracting my claws, I turn back at Trace and I say, "So glad you helped."
Always.
Smirking, I'll turn. I'll turn. So this table, this chest, presumably both. Hopefully, there's something useful here.
Well, I was interrupted in my casting. If you, I don't know, you might want to take a look around before if we're gonna try to, take the time to search for magical means. Make sure we're
Yes.
not gonna get ambushed again. We should probably take a look around.
Eyes to the sand, so they speak. But
Yes.
if we see another lump like that, be sure to keep your distance.
Did we see an actual lump in the sand where that snake was before it came up?
They were just scattered all over around
Oh.
the stone, and then going like leading underneath it. And
Can we? Are there more mounds like that throughout this cave, or is it just around the chest here?
as like you look around, you do see others, but the main focus is around the chest.
All right. I'm gonna kick over the other mounds around the chest, make sure there's nothing.
So you kick over the mounds, and you find nothing.
All right. I'm gonna, if you guys don't mind, should I try again?
Yes.
Magic?
Yeah, I'll investigate the chest.
I'll check out this room down here while they investigate. Yes, just in case.
I'll be
Yep,
ritual casting then.
It was already kind of gone through before, but you can give me another check if you'd like, in case there's anything that you feel that they may have missed.
With my grand total of 8.
Investigation.
Yep.
20?
Nothing is in here. It's just
Hmm.
empty. No ceiling. There's a lot of sand, some rocks, and a
Ooh,
broken
I put
off
a
the wall.
bit of sand in my. I put a bit of sand in my pocket. What a good find.
But just sand?
Yep. Special sand.
Pocket sand. Shasha.
I enjoying the rest of my friends.
Should we just fast forward to
Yep,
detect
if
magic?
there's
time?
nothing else, anything you guys would like to do during the 10 minutes, we can just fast forward. And
I investigate the chest. Is it open? Is it locked? Is it trapped?
did you do none of the above? You sense a bit of like a faint aura of magic coming from within the chest, Krev, but the chest, when you kind of give it the once over, placing your hands upon it, checking it out, it doesn't seem to be trapped or locked.
Do I
Okay.
by chance get a school of magic from my detect magic? From what I sense from the chest?
Yep, let me double check them.
But guys, there's something magical in the chest. A faint hue.
It's adjuration.
Abjuration. Doesn't that usually mean defensive? Is this thing
What?
going to explode? When we
Yes.
open
Would you like to open it?
it? Does anybody have that thing that lets them open things from a distance? The what's it called? Mage
What's-
hand?
You can only do that if you're a cane trickster.
I do not.
No.
No.
I got the idea. How about we tie a rope to the latch and then stand over here and pull up? Try to open it from a distance.
Oh my gosh. I do not have time for this. I open it.
All right.
Fireball!
Stand where I am.
All right. Give me a Constitution saving throw there, Kadir, as your
Okay.
heart kind of flutters just a tiny bit as you lay your eyes upon a lot of coin and other various treasures. You'll see bits of pieces of. I was just kind of joking about the con save, by the way.
I die of a heart attack on the spot.
This is a lot of money.
Money.
You can see like a bit of like a remnants of silk popping through these coins. You see copper, silver, and gold pieces, and a corner of what appears to be a ceramic box.
I'm assuming that's the magical hue item. The
You do not
box?
see the magic coming from the box. It's still the faint aura below, beneath the coins.
I reach my hand in, trying to find whatever's glowing.
So yeah, you kind of like dig around a little bit, and then you feel a little piece of parchment.
I pull it out. Now he backs away.
And it's just rolled up and tied with a ribbon, and you can see the adoration aura coming from this parchment.
I untie the ribbon.
And when you unravel it, you see that it is a scroll.
Like a spell scroll?
Correct. You see the lettering and the symbols kind of scribbled upon it, giving off that faint adoration aura.
Hmm.
And
Can I tell what spell it is?
you can give me an Arcana check, or you can.
I
cast Identify.
I don't have that. I'll have to roll.
All right, give me the
All right.
Arcana
Well, does my
check.
detect magic assist me, or?
Yeah, I'll give you advantage on it since you kind of know the class, so it'll help you pin it down.
Yeah. If somebody wants to guidance me, that'd be nice.
Space walks up to him and casts guidance. Well, not really, because he doesn't. Yeah,
All right, I get to reroll the 1. God damn it.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. All right. So this will just be a straight roll.
Now it's a 2.
Oh, god damn. It's a 9 total.
Yeah, you're. Let me check one more.
Aren't scrolls of spells just like legible, where you can just read them?
Yeah, this is more to like kind of see like if you're familiar with it because of just the particular spell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one you're unable to tell.
All right.
Do
But
I
you
get
do
the name?
sense more, like adoration aura coming from within the chest after you've removed this.
More? Oh. I'd reach in.
It explodes.
You find yet another scroll.
All right. I untie it.
This one you are able to tell, and it is a scroll of Shield of Faith.
Is there still a hue from the chest?
Nope, that is it.
Well, there's nothing more magical in the chest, just these 2 scrolls.
What about these big ass swords?
Are they magical?
No, they're not. You can see that
They are.
they've got a bit of a darker color to them. Is anyone proficient in blacksmithing?
Hold on, I think I am actually.
What kind of
Smith
metal?
tools. Yep.
What kind of metal is it?
You'll know that it's steel. It's a bit of a higher upgrade than most of the iron weapons that are more common throughout Lahles.
So these are fancy, maybe upgraded weapons.
Fuck it.
Correct.
I'm going for the King Arthur.
Yes.
I'm going to pull out
These
one of the
are
swords.
above average swords. I would say these aren't magical, but they are well above average swords. They're definitely worth taking, I think.
The ones in the table?
The ones in
Yep.
the yeah.
What kind of swords are they?
They're steel.
Kind of appearing like from like the size, it's definitely a bit off scale, but they look to be long swords.
Are you? I'll turn to Rekid. Are you any good with these?
Not quite. If there were short swords, perhaps, but
I'm trying to pull one out just for the record.
So while you try to pull, it seems to be held pretty firm, and it's not budging.
I'm
what
no
is
king,
this-
it seems.
What's this table made out of?
Stone.
Oh, shit.
Well, stone
hoping
can
it
be
was wood.
destroyed, right? I mean, if it's stone, couldn't you just smash it with a hammer and the sword go free?
I mean, you might break the sword.
Well, it's steel, right? Good
Mhm.
steel.
I don't know.
Maybe,
I would
maybe
like-
not. Who knows? You're
Could
gonna have to
I,
try to find
well-
out.
I also have mason's tools, which is stonework. Could I potentially crack the stone with my mason's tools? And since I also
Yeah.
have smith tools, I would probably know what
I
what
would say that
strength the sword can
it's
withstand.
it's obviously
you
going to
know?
take a bit of time, but you can definitely like chisel the stone away, giving it at least a bit of like a breathing room, maybe making it,
Sure.
if not like
Well,
being able to like chisel it away to take it out easily, at
Mhm.
least do something for it.
so while you guys looking, try to divvy up the treasure, I can try to get the swords free.
Let me see those scrolls.
Sure.
will-
The one is Shield of Faith. I don't believe I can use it. The other one, I couldn't tell what it was. I think they're both Abjuration, if I'm not mistaken.
I could use Shield of Faith.
You can.
So if that's what you're gonna do, Krev, and kind of chisel away the stone, just give me like a mason's tools check, more
Sure.
relatively for length of time it'll take, because I mean it's not something that like you
Right.
can't like do. It's just we'll see how fast you can do it.
There's nothing
and
else. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, and if you want to check out both the scrolls there, Kadir, with the one identified and then the other as you take a look at it, give me an Arcana check with that one as well.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can use Steel of Fate in that group.
There you go.
Nice roll. So you'll know that the other one is. Let me just double check. I want to make sure I give you the right thing. Aura of Life.
Oh,
No, once again, I don't think anyone can use that. Also, Cleric and Paladin spells, right? Both of them.
yes, a very useful spell. We should hold on to this in case.
Worth money.
Well, I believe. Well, it could be useful. Who knows?
Can you cast?
Not at this moment.
So you're gonna chisel away the stone there, Krev?
Yep. I'll move up, and between using my masonry tools and my smith's tools, I can hopefully have an understanding of what how much pressure the sword can take without breaking, with the smith's tools and then the
Yeah.
masonry tools to crack the stone. And then since I think we've already figured everything magic in this room, I would switch to guidance for this to help, because I'm okay at the checks here, but with the
And I would
masons,
say
but-
like you're not a bad blacksmith. You're definitely not the best, but you'd
Mhm.
be
I mean, I've got
mediocre.
14 and I'm proficient, so it's not
Yeah.
terrible. I'm just not. It's not my primary stat, but I've got
Exactly.
14. It's not bad.
Nope, not at
Um,
all. That's why I'm saying like you would passively know this.
Yeah. All right. There we go. 15.
Nice.
So with making sure and taking the right precautions in doing so, this is going to take you about an hour for at least this first one that you're working on.
Could I make a Smith's Tools check to see the quality of the swords that we're looking at before we get them out? See if it's worth it, actually.
Sure.
Yeah.
Take a better look at it.
Mhm.
See how it's crafted.
Ugh, I guess I didn't get a good look.
These are some damn good swords.
Wait, is that a nat 1? It was. I
is.
get to reroll that. Yeah. Yeah. So keep the 4, obviously, from before, but that's a 18.
Yeah, these are slightly above average swords.
All right. I think it's
No,
worth getting them out, guys.
Are they great or long swords?
believe it's
From
long.
Krebs, he'll be able to determine their long swords about halfway stuck into the stone. Like I said, like they're not perfectly to scale, but I mean, in fact, quite off. But you get it.
All right. Well, I guess I'm getting to work chiseling.
How much gold is in the chest? Or are any other valuables counted, really?
What I will do is I will send you the list in Discord. I just have to slightly edit it.
510 million gold coin. Exactly. And 2 copper pieces.
I almost posted it in the Danish chat. I'm not really sure why.
It's just a good room.
There you go.
Oof.
Ceramic dice.
That's a lot of copper. That's a decent amount overall.
Yeah. I mean, that spell scroll is worth a lot of coin. It's a rare item.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll start editing.
Wait, what?
Okay. Just so you know, like the ceramic box is
I want that
about like
shoulder face.
10 inches by like 10 inches. So it's like kind of cube shaped. It you see like a little seal kind of around 3/4 of it, indicating that there's a lid.
This is on the what? Sorry.
Inside the ceramic box that he had found in the chest.
Because I'm taking Paladin next level.
So I assume you're opening that ceramic box.
Well, that's up to him. I just wanted to let him know that it does appear that it can be opened.
All right, I'll do so.
So inside
Walk
you
away.
see this nice green silked pillow, and upon it rest a all of these pieces will be ceramic, just to help sum that up. A miniature of a tower, a miniature of a tree, and you'll see a few empty spots appearing that this is missing a couple pieces. Then you'll also see a ceramic checkered game board.
Do any
That
of
kinda
these
folds
pieces
out.
look like us?
No, one's of a tower and one's of a tree.
Just checking.
But there are missing pieces.
Maybe they're in the chest.
With the
Along
hour
with
that
everything else.
like you would have spent going through it, by the time Krev gets one of the swords loosened enough, you'll see it like kind of wobble a little bit, but it still is stuck into the stone.
Trace, do you want to try, or do I feel like it would be safe to pull it? Based on my check from earlier,
Yeah, so far so good.
Yeah, I'll try to pull again.
I'd say it might be worth trying to get this out. I'd guidance you.
But with the hour that had gone by, you would have found everything like that's in the chest. I believe that would have been enough time for you to kind of sift through everything. And with the extra assistance that Krev had placed, you are able to remove one of the swords.
I like test it out and swing it and see if it's well balanced, etc., etc.
Yes, this is a well-crafted blade, pretty well balanced. You can see that it's some above average blacksmith had gotten their hands upon this material to craft this nice weapon.
Well, I could use a good longsword.
Do I see anything in particular? Any special markings or known blacksmiths?
You do see a couple of symbols on it near like the tip as he kind of slides it out. You can give me an investigate or give me a perception check since you're just kind of laying your eyes upon them.
Thank you, because that's my better skill.
And then I will also need everyone on top of that to give me a perception check as well.
On top of what now?
On top of his perception check, I needed one from
Oh.
each of you.
Oh, I see.
Krev, laying your eyes upon these symbols, this is nothing that you recognize, no signature from any blacksmith that you've ever heard or met in your history or in your past. And in fact, these don't seem to be from any city that you're familiar with either. But each of you will see the sand slowly recede, start falling down as it reveals more of the ruined walls.
Like, is the room falling apart, or is it just
And
revealing
you
stuff?
just hear a sounds at a click. And some type of mechanism has been set off.
Like, it's a timer, or is it just those 3 clicks?
It's continuously going.
Guys, I think we need to get out of here.
I don't think I would recognize that as being a timer. Is the thing. In this,
Also, maybe
For
something
his
has opened.
from his perceptive or perception, yes, you can make your own assumption.
I quickly look down this path down here, see if I can see anything.
Yep, let me reveal some more area for you.
Did you say I was getting out both swords within the hour, or just one of them?
Just the one.
Okay.
I assume I have it on me right now, right?
Yes, this would have the sand would have begun receding just moments after you've pulled the sword from the stone.
We haven't even finished looking in this room down here.
And I just quickly like focus my mind to see if I can hear anything coming from down here at all. Any clicking sounds?
The clicking just seems to be kind of echoing from off like all the walls, seeming to come from all around you. But from where you're standing as well, you can kind of see where like the sand has begun to like retreat, just falling as it's like trickling against the walls.
And
To
this
your
is
east.
a door.
That is a door.
Question. If I put, like, my quarterstaff in the slot where the sword was, does the clicking stop?
No, it does not.
it seems very weird to me that it would be a trap. That's a very elaborate trap. Seems like it would occur more to me that we've opened something.
Want to
Hmm.
open the door?
Yes, let's try to open the door, Kadir.
All right, I'm
You
gonna
can
come
see
down
like
there
a
with you
bit
guys.
of a gap kind of growing from underneath it, just slightly. It's probably receded about 6 inches from the bottom of the door at this point. Who's gonna open it? Who's taking the
Traces.
lead? All right. So, reveal a bit more of the area for you.
I'm trying to spell longsword, which apparently I can't. There we go.
Yes, we go in and make a perception check.
And it's go ahead. And then I'll uncover that from your angle now. Since there is like a little bit of a wall there.
Reroll.
Thank goodness for halfling.
Yeah, so just keep the 2 and so that's 20, 22.
From your perception check, it's just another ruined, empty room. The sand still ever slowly retreating, falling down. Just at like a snail's pace. It's not like a quick fall by any means. But the clicking continues.
What is this up here? Is this like just a table? Is there anything on it?
Just a battered door.
No.
There appears to be
And
nothing.
Is this like
here.
caved in rock up here? Like what is?
Just broken down wall.
So sand keeps disappearing or what? Everywhere?
Yes, like as like you're kind of like looking, you can still see it kind of like gradually like forming like a hill towards like the wall, giving it that like little slope.
So guys, like if the sand's retreating, and we think we're underwater,
We are not. There's
We're
just
not?
sky above us.
Well, I
There's
mean,
just-
We had to have been underwater at one point, but that body of water was small enough to where we would have.
okay.
maybe
while
we should
ago.
just wait and see what happens. I mean, stand on something that's safe, like this stone
Okay.
over here or something.
Can I investigate it to see if there's a mechanism or something like that?
Oh, and where the sword was or whatever.
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
Thank you.
Nice.
You can hear a more concentrating of the clicking coming from what sounds within the stone, and as like you kind of look through it, you catch like what appears to be a released point, something that the sword was separating is whatever it was separating is now touching. It's hard to make out.
So if we
Some
put,
closed. Some kind of circuit has closed.
can we reopen the circuit with something? Do we have a replacement for the sword?
I do not believe that is possible once it says closed.
I'll actually include because it is above a 20, or it is a 20. It doesn't seem to be fully activated.
The other sword.
Perhaps once the other sword is removed, then the whatever is to happen here. Oh, the clicking mechanism is whatever this table is trying to do is unable to do it without that other sword.
Maybe this table moves.
I think we remove other sword.
Yes, that is the way.
I think no trap. I think.
All right.
Okay.
Can we search the rest of this cave here before we
We're not
maybe
in
at
a
least
cave.
this floor or this room?
We're outside.
Yeah, you're just
Outside
like
area.
out in some ruined area.
Like, did we go up to the north at all to look? I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know what's up there.
I'll go ahead and uncover each of the areas. You want to take some time and look around, but it
Well-
is all just ruins.
I would like to use my survival to find the best and safest place to stand, just in case. Like a place that would be covered by rock or so. If that makes
Oh.
sense.
From everywhere that kind of seems to be within like the perimeter of the major walls that line the outside, the sand is receding slowly. But outside of it seems to be good. Like within like the cave and just outside the main walls.
I
This over
I
here
think-
is a stone structure, right?
Say
Or
that again.
whatever
I'm
that
sorry,
is.
bud.
This over here is stone, right?
Yep.
Good.
I have a somewhat unorthodox method of pulling the sword out of the stone. Perhaps we could all do this together. I reach into my bag and I produce a block and tackle. So it's kind of like a rope pulley. We tie the rope around the what is it? The sword guard. We tie it around the bottom of the sword guard. We attach the block to the wall, and then we pull together on the rope.
Would
It increases the leverage of our strength multiple times over.
Yes, my fear is the sword might break. I don't know if it can withstand the pressure when it's that far buried
Well,
into the
if we're
stone.
pulling it directly out, we are not applying sideways pressure, then it should not break.
If anything, the handle might come off of the blade.
Then it is a shitty sword. I am more interested in what the rest of this mechanism completes.
I say let's do it.
Very well. I'll anchor a python to the wall or a piton. I don't know how you pronounce it. Attach the tackle to it. Wrap the rope around the sword guard multiple times over, so that the rope is not touching the blade, and it is only touching the sword guard, and maybe the pommel, and then pull the rope through the tackle. All right, whenever you are ready.
Let's
And
do it.
Yes.
I'll ask everyone to line up on the rope.
On the rope?
Yes, pull.
Oh, I thought maybe been standing on the rope. I'll pull.
So I guess everyone would have to be in a line, like right here.
Just making sure where everyone's gonna stand.
This could either be very bad or very good.
Yes, I am very excited to see.
All right. With everyone kind of assisting, I'll go ahead and say, give me, everyone roll me an athletics check, and I'll take the average.
I feel like it should be some kind of total, because we're like it again. Never mind.
I got lucky.
Just need one more.
I mean, it is kind of an all at once strength check, but yeah.
Yeah,
There we go.
plenty. The natural 20 did well. Believe you guys were just at like 50 with the 4, so it's enough to pull it out. And as the sword comes out, the clicking begins to intensify, and the sand begins receding quicker. And now I'll need everyone to make me a dexterity saving throw, as the sand is receding faster, almost feet every couple of seconds.
Since we're all holding onto the rope, does that give us advantage?
Oh,
It's like just
disadvantage?
kind of like the weight that would have been like kind of tethered on it, like the resistance would have been the sand or the stone or the sword in the stone. now that it's just kind of like wrapped around and hanging there, I don't see how it's going to help that much.
Well, the sword would fly up to the tackle, at which point, because we weigh more than the sword
Yeah,
does.
it would give you a like distance of potentially falling, but it's not going to give advantage.
Okay. Damn, that's best deck save I've made this entire campaign.
Nice.
Just
I say
need
we should.
one from Onyx.
We should grab the sword, and I don't know if we should leave or.
Might not have that option here in a moment.
So as Trace, your feet are kind of just like falling into the sand. The rest of you, like you're kind of like at like a calf area, making it quite difficult for you to maneuver. The rest of you just have mainly like your feet be covering up as like you're fighting against what you can feel to be quicksand.
So, like, difficult terrain?
Yes, for right now.
I ignore that as a reindeer.
Lucky for you.
Can I
I
like
move over
make
to
it
the
to
stone
the
as soon
stone?
as I can. Yeah.
Yeah, you can make it to the stone. Like the only real difficult terrain right now would be for Trace, but he does ignore that. All the rest of you save, so you're not like sunk into the sand as far as he is.
Say let's get the sword down while we can, while we still have time.
Yeah, I'll say like about every 10 seconds, this would have receded 3 to 4 feet.
Wow.
So if you want to take the time to get the sword, that can be easily done. It's really just kind of tethered to the rope.
Mhm.
I mean, hell, all you have to do is kind of grab the sword and you're pretty much good.
Yep. All right. I do.
Take like just a brief moment, nothing more than like 5 seconds
Sure.
for you to be able to grab it and get to the stone
Yeah.
disc table.
Sure. Sweet.
I'm guessing Trace, you're maneuvering over to like the large piles of stone.
Yep.
You'll see like the one that you're on has like slowly begin to start its sinking, but it's at a very slow pace.
I'll jump one up.
No problem. Just making sure, for convenience sake, Onyx and Kadir, you're both on the disc, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Just wanted to double. I figured that's where we both were going, but I just gotta double check. But at this point, roughly, after everyone makes their way to the disc, Trace making his way to the stone, you'll see that the sand recedes about another like 10 foot in total, and then seems to grow a bit darker in color. You can still see some slight movement, but the main falling has ceased.
Dark as in wet.
It almost looks like mud.
Oh.
Like, not like as wet, but like that kind of dark complexion.
I would like to look around the. I'm assuming we're standing on top of a pillar now.
Yes. At this point, you each would be about 25 foot in the air. Trace, you're about like 15 from like where the ground is
Okay.
receded.
All right, so I tie my rope up into a little lasso, and I throw it at the python on the wall. Pull back on the rope to tighten the lasso.
All right.
Uh,
Throw me an
and I'll say-
athletics check.
okay.
and you
Nice.
get it done just fine. Tightening it on, it's. Yeah, I'll just stop there. I don't want to run into any puns. We've got plenty of puns coming. Don't worry.
Christian's waiting.
Gentlemen, see you at the bottom. And I'll go ahead and slide down the rope.
Does there appear to be of any paths that's been opened that I can see from here?
No. You don't see any path. Just like where like the sand is kind of seemingly stopped. But Kadir, as like you kind of slide down the rope, getting like like the slight heat from the rope to your hands before it starts to burn too much, you reach the bottom, and your feet will just like begin slowly sinking into the sand.
Like the mud.
Yeah, it's still quicksand. It's just not falling as quickly as it was.
How far down is it?
25 feet from the where you guys are on top.
Whoa.
I jumped down.
I
Well-
believe you take reduced fall damage, right? Or do
Yes.
you? Okay, so
20.
what was that?
They're reduced by 20 damage.
Reduced by
It does-
20. All right, I'm rolling anyways. I can do it. Yeah, you're fine. It was close. I'm just kidding.
It's like 2.5 d6s. You still rolling max damage on your d3 over there?
Nope. Got a 9, but I just wanted to roll because I hadn't rolled. That's all.
Well, I'm glad to see your old knees haven't given out on you yet.
But you sink like a couple of inches quite quickly down into the quicksand. I think it's.
Do we
safe
see
to
where the
say
sand? Do we see where the sand has been going?
It's just going down.
Like where does it flow to? Like-
Imagine if you zoom out on the map, you'll see like where like there's like this main like the stone walled structure. It's like a
Mhm.
rectangle. Everywhere in the center
Mhm.
is going down in between those walls.
So just straight down. What
Correct.
about the sand from like outside the structure? Is that kind of like flowing in?
Yeah, it's just like trickling in, but you can see where it's definitely started to create like almost like a cliffside in a sense.
Huh.
I'm going to use my quarterstaff to distribute my weight over a larger surface area.
All right. Every minute that you guys are in here, I will need another deck save. Just so you're aware.
Okay. I mean, if it's still going down, I'm just gonna climb up the rope a little bit and then tie myself onto it, so I'm kind of like hanging there.
Yeah, we should wait, right?
Yeah, like the surface level of the sand isn't going down. You just kind of like feel yourself sinking as soon as you start to touch it.
Oh, okay.
So like the level isn't falling anymore, but you still know that it's cooling down.
I see.
Revealing the pillar, is there anything on the side of it like that was revealed, or anything that was revealed on any of the walls?
Thank you for asking. Give me a perception check as like you take a look around, and we'll see where it goes from there. Give me a history check, Kadir.
I can do that. Don't fail me now.
So as you kind of look at mainly the pillar that's kind of revealed itself from the sand, you start to notice these symbols and almost like hieroglyphics giving and telling like a bit of a story, and it shows individual sinking into the sand. And
Oh,
then
hey,
it
guys.
leads to a large entranceway. Then after that, some symbols of death with bones, skulls, and then also some of the other symbols. You would know that some of these symbols, probably not making sense to the others, make sense to you.
Oh, good.
Noticing them from a tomb long ago.
Yes, well, oh, hey, there's a story of us where there were some people. They fall into some sinking sands. They find a pit into hell, and then they die. Perhaps we should go home now.
Are we
Yes?
about to go into hell?
No. Well, we're going home. I think we mentioned that.
Oh, but this is an entrance to hell.
I know I know it's not common to do this, but can I insight check him?
It's actually a good idea.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, I've listened to plenty of shows that the characters incite each other.
I would do that too, honestly.
18.
Both of you can definitely tell a bit of shakiness in his voice. Seems to be holding back something.
You seem
Most
to
of
be,
it being true.
yeah. You seem to be startled as what you're seeing here.
No,
What,
not at all. Completely normal.
Ah.
Definitely nothing awful here.
I enjoy sarcasm, but what's going on here?
We need to go.
Are we in danger?
Can Kadir give me a dex save, and Rekid give me a dex save as well. Kadir, you get yours at advantage for holding onto the rope. And Rekid,
Okay.
you also get yours advantage. I just remembered that you were using your staff to distribute the weight.
Okay. First one was better.
Where we are going, you do not come back from. We go home now.
All right. I try to jump to the rope if you give it to me.
I'll bring it closer to the pillar.
Wait, which way is home?
I will say from your saves, like you're both like kind of like sinking, but with your weight distribution holding on to the rope, it's not pulling you any further down, but you still do feel the tug.
I climb down the rope.
Anywhere that is not here is home.
And I see Kadir using his staff, his quarterstaff. I do the same. I pull my quarterstaff out and try to balance.
I guess another option would just to keep moving. It's kind of like the idea of like running on water, but scaled down.
All right, let's move.
All right, I just need
Looking-
the deck saves from Kadir and Krev.
Are we?
Or not Kadir and Krev, Onyx and Krev.
Do I
When
get
they
the?
first- you'll get yours at advantage, and I just wanted to make sure, Onyx, are you doing anything in particular, or are you just powering through?
Powering through.
Okay. And yours will be just regular. And you both are definitely feeling the pull, but you're not sinking.
Okay.
Looking the entrance that was referenced on the hieroglyphs. What did it look like?
The entrance that you saw on there was like a large, like what appeared to be a tunnel, and on both sides of the tunnel, what looked to be like stone, these polished stone statues, wielding a sword and a shield.
Do we see any? Do I see any statues looking like that around?
No.
Or have I?
You have before, when not here, if that's what you're asking.
Or yes. Well. Okay then.
I'm back and I'll follow along.
All right. Well, when you touch the sand, I just need a deck save from you, and then we're good to go.
Dex save target. 18.
All right. For you, just because you're away from it, for the narrative part, you still do feel a tug, but you're able to make your way through. It's all still considered difficult terrain, just for the record, but
Yeah.
with how quickly you guys are trying to move through, and to not tie it up too much, because at this point, I don't think it relatively matters. You can all make it to the mouth of the entrance where you've made your way in, but now this is about 15 foot up an incline.
I'll look at the. Why are we scared again?
Everything in here is quicksand. And
Yeah, no.
he had read some hieroglyphics that were on the pillar, indicating death.
Right.
Being in what he described to being sucked into hell.
Perhaps if you are less fearful than I, you can go searching for such things. There should be a cave somewhere around here, guarded by 2 statues. I'm sure there's plenty of treasure within, and it's completely worth it.
Well,
You will not regret your decision in any way.
not how I think. We open gates to hell and we run. Next stranger will get trapped here because of us.
This is turning out to be a lot like the snake lair, huh?
I don't think this will be available for our next person. I think it's collapsing.
Oh, that's good then.
This portal will never be here again. Where it is now, it will not be. Where it will be next is not here.
It moves?
It is anywhere. It is nowhere. It is wherever it needs to be when it needs to be there.
So it chose to be here where we were?
Yes,
But why
Because-
us?
this
Because of
hell
you?
chose us.
Because
And
of
I
you?
choose not to be here.
While we're having a discussion, are the doors sinking at all into the sand?
Oh yeah, these would have been gone at this
Oh,
point.
Okay.
All right, in that
Right.
case,
I
I'll...
assume we're just continuing.
Yeah, I figured, like I said, you guys would have made it to like the cave mouth at this point, with knowing that like the longer you spend here, the more chances you have being of pulled beneath the surface. The only thing I'll need from each of you is, I guess, to climb up to the cave mouth entrance. It's only 15 foot. Should be just fine.
All right.
If you got like
Yes.
a process, go ahead. If not, then each of you just make athletics, acrobatics. Get up. Krev, you fall. Wreck-It, you're fine.
Sorry. What are we doing?
Once Krev is up
Just
there,
climbing up.
Once Krev is up there, I'll ask him to tie off a rope.
Climbing if
Sure.
athletics though.
Yeah, I'm just fine with either because it's, I feel like, meaningless at this point. The main thing from the trap was the quicksand, and
Yeah.
you guys had to fail a lot more, and no one had failed. So, with that, everyone is good. You can all climb up and make your way back into where you had found this awesome stoned rune place.
at this point, I'm going to start instinctively touching the wall with my right hand as we walk.
I'm going
I'll
to
also
do.
I'll
I'm going
also
to do
recast light.
I'm going to do exactly like Kadir does.
And seeing that he does that, I will say, the walls are as real as you need them to be. As long as you are touching them, they cannot be fake.
Smart. Well, I mean, Trace definitely feels that Kadir knows what's going on, so he follows his lead blind, more or less.
Yeah. And
At this point, like once every minute, I would probably be making an active perception or investigation, just out of fear.
yeah, no
If
problem.
you
Give me a couple rolls.
sure.
You can feel, um, like the walls shifting from time to time, making slight subtle movements.
Well, Trace would like to assist in all those roles, if possible.
Oh yes, trace
He does
your
not
hand
do-
along the wall as well. You'll feel this as well. We'll say you kind of feel it, and then with it being kind of gestured by Kadir.
Right.
From what he had said previously.
Yeah.
But needing to spend what you all assume to be an hour, maybe a little over, from heading through this tunnel. Eventually, you begin to hear the familiar sounds of the water from the oasis.
Yes, let us hope that everything is okay with Jeeves.
With everything being quite dark at this point, eventually laying your eyes upon the uh, wooden stairs leading back up into the abandoned house. Well, with its skeleton resident, of course.
Yes, of course. I'll yeah. Let's go back outside and check on Jeeves.
Yes.
Yes.
When you head out, you'll see that Jeeves has a tent kind of propped up, and the horses are drinking from the water. He's got a little fire going, but he's still sitting on the eastern side on the what I guess you could call the mainland, since this oasis had an island within the water. Hello, you've all been gone for quite some time. The house isn't that big.
How long were we gone, Jeeves?
It's quite late. Say a few hours at least.
Very
It's
well
like you
then.
kind of look up, you'll see that it is completely night. The stars are shining. It's a half moon up in the sky, and just a little bit of clouds. Nothing too much, but it's a beautiful night.
Yes.
Well, Trace looks at Kadir for a moment and says, "You had this happened to you before?"
Yes, by choice.
Oh,
And now, not by choice. Well, by choice, not seeing it again based on that experience, or
I understand.
Yes. You only go in if you are prepared to lose everything.
Yes.
Believe me, there's.
I trust you.
Well, perhaps I can share a story.
Please.
They say that once, and I'll talk once we get back to camp. Maybe set up like a campfire or something like that.
Yeah, Jeeves has all that stuff set up for you guys, so just as he does every night that you've been with him, being your
There,
nice, loyal servant that he is.
once, very long ago, there was there were two goblin brothers, chieftains of their town. They fought each other. They fought each other endlessly, bickered, and well, I will keep the story as short as it need be. But the King Squash, the leader of this tribe, well, his brother, he had died, and though his brother was a betrayer, he loved him dearly, and so wandered out to a place in the desert called the Void Heart. It was said to be a pit so deep, so dark, that it led to hell itself. So he ventured. King Squash, he ventured into this pit and met many unknown horrors, devils, flesh machinations, all manner of awful creatures. The undead, the abyssal, the infernal, they all reside there in this pit, this intermingling of realms. This King Squash, no one know. The stories say that he spent years in this pit, searching for his brother. They say that he even died there, but that death was not the end. Well, I think the story ends with him finding his brother and, by the power of the gods, saving himself and the soul of his brother. But to be honest, I think people just like happy stories. This Void Heart, I have been there, and the stories do not do it justice.
Well, like, Trace nods for a moment, like he understands the gist of it. Thank you for sharing.
I'll meet that with silence. Well, I suppose whatever that was, we are not a part of it now. So, at least for now, we are safe.
So, what made you make the trip the first time? If you had nothing else worth living for.
What is the failing of all men? Greed. It's this pit. Those who leave are rarely able to do so. It is by pure dumb luck that they are alive.
Unholy.
That is a word for it.
Well,
Oh well.
let's
So,
move on.
perhaps you would like to hold on to my souvenir, Krev, and I'll hold my lantern up to him.
Hold on to your souvenir.
Yes.
Why do you call your lantern a souvenir?
Because where do you think I got this?
Got this in hell?
In Voidheart, yes. Perhaps it was hell. Perhaps it was the astral plane. One never really knows. Even the concept of time there seems irrelevant.
Is this...
After all, in hell there is no sun.
Is this how you got your powers?
Yes.
So you went into hell without any powers. Or void heart, or whatever you call it.
A simple jeweler.
What a dangerous place to go for a non-adventurer.
A stupid way to go. It's a good way to lose all your friends.
For your life.
Well,
Wow, Master Kadir. That sounds pretty stupid of you.
I would be inclined to agree, good Jeeves.
When if you ask Jeeves.
I would be quite nervous upon taking anything from hell as you've described it.
Well, I did not take anything. If I were to bury this lantern in the ground, it would only show up tomorrow, 5 miles down the road. Perhaps you would like to place a bet?
Sounds like a losing bet to me. But I don't have any coin to wager.
What do you mean it would show up 5 miles down the road?
It
It doesn't follow you.
follows.
It follows you?
It follows.
Hmm.
They follow.
They? Who is
It's... I think we should turn in. I think we have had enough of stories for tonight.
Well, Trace is going to spend a few moments looking at the sword.
they? Yes. I'd also look closer and see if how
I
well
would-
crafted it is.
I would like to
Yeah.
cast Identify on the sword.
It is non-magical. But with you guys spending a little bit of time with it, you'll both realize that this is a better crafted steel longsword than most other longswords that you've seen, and both of you can add a +1/+1 steel longsword to your inventory.
Cool.
I don't consider +1s, +2s, things of that nature to be magical, just like a better crafted in a sense.
That's nice. Yeah. Cool. Sweet. And he said steel, right?
Yep.
Hmm.
And I know that you guys had done it on like the previous of traveling here and then having quite the eventful evening. But it is getting fairly late in the night. But just so everyone is up to date, I have Trace, you still needing 2 hours to finish your mock-up bow.
Yeah, hopefully I can do them now.
Kadir, well, like this is after like your day of work and like the travel. It's just been like kind of a lot to go through in like these past couple of hours for you. But you can easily get it done the next day. Kadir, I have you at 24 hours.
I read the entire night.
Okay. And then I have Krev, yours had been completed.
I completed mine. All right.
Your book of the beast.
The spider one?
It was just like a specific thing. It's not too
Yeah,
much
yeah.
to go through.
I think I had like 22 hours left, I thought, but
Well,
you?
if we're going to take a...
Oh yes, there's the note. Yes, I had you. I guess just.
so there was the first like monster manual book, and then this is the second specific one.
I found it. I had just skimmed
Yeah.
over it, but yes, you were at 22 hours. Thank you.
Well, if we're going to take a short rest, I'm definitely going to spend 2 hours because I mean I'm my elf still, so I
Yeah.
miss the short
Yeah.
rest.
So if I sleep, do we have any time to read?
You won't have time to read if you sleep.
Okay. Well, I'll sleep.
Okay.
Could I get a guidance by you, Krev?
Sure.
Thank you.
Test guidance.
So, you said I was at 22 hours left. Is that where you said I was?
I had you at 24. Krev was at 22.
Cool. Yeah. In that case, I'll read for 8 hours then, I guess, or unless it's more, I don't know.
This would prohibit your short rest, unless you have something specifically that I'm forgetting.
I do.
Okay. Yeah, you're rest. What is it? Like you're restless?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember the name until I had thought about it for a moment, but yeah, that's right. And Trace, you're good. And everyone can get a short rest.
All right. So I'm down to 16.
Correct.
All right.
Trace, yours is completed, and then I'm just gonna update the times for everybody else. Well, mainly for Kadir.
Yep.
All right.
And of course, that means that I would start the work on the main bow. All the simple stuff first, of course. I do have all the materials.
Yeah, some
for
of like the
actual
wood carving, things of that nature.
Yeah. I don't know. Would it take the same amount of time to make the actual bow as it take to make the mock-up bow? Or
Yeah, it's still gonna take the same time. You'll just have advantage on your rolls.
good.
And then you've actually rolled well enough for your replica and spending time doing that that it is actually a +1/+1 longbow.
Oh, nice.
So
Do I-
well done on your crafting.
Sweet.
Question. Do I know what kind of so I'm thinking in mind reading this book with the intention of trying to figure out what kind of wood I should be building my staff out of. Do I know what kind of wood be I am a woodworker. Do I know what kind of wood be sufficient?
So
Unintended.
with the book that
What
you're
that would be.
reading being on like magically crafting not just the staves but all items, and you mainly focusing on the staves and being a woodworker, you easily can pick up, especially with the amount of time that you've already put into it, that one of the common themes, it seems to be the better quality, the like higher components that it can hold. So as like a woodworker, um, just like the ones that I've like read to Trace before, which are kind of just like the books that he had picked up, like Living in Dead Trees. I believe one was a cold tree. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but there are different kinds of wooden materials throughout the world, or like
Right.
different types of trees.
Okay. Do I know which do I know which ones are best, or do I know where they would be? Are they nearby, or
So from your like area in Mito being a little less and more focused on like oaks being in like the southern area, you'll know that like the prime location and areas are near the city of Glentz, being in a dense forest. Uh, the trees in the north being of good abundance, but you'll have like sporadic locations. Which I believe you can see on the map because you guys have a full map.
Well, if I get to like, I probably have a little bit of scrap of the coal pine. I can show him if that helps.
The forest just north of Ravenshaw, Glentz, in that area, and then up in the north, Vala has like the best quality of wood.
well, perhaps once we make our way back to Goldshire, then I will be able to begin, or maybe sooner, perhaps.
I was able to buy cold pine there.
No,
Yep.
you're swapping them.
But if there's nothing else to go over while you guys have done your work through the night, this will move everyone to April 9th. In the morning as the sun begins to rise, as it nears 6:30 in the morning.
All right.
I'll start preparing the horses and some meals for us.
As with every morning, I'll help him prepare the meal.
Is my cooking not good enough for you, Master Kadir?
Why ever would you say that, Jeeves?
As my wife said, before she died, that it'd probably be my cooking that killed her. So I was
Ah.
never good with spices. I think she just had no taste.
Mm.
Rest her soul.
So did you kill her?
That's a direct question.
He just ignores that and
I mean,
gives
he
you like
said it.
a little glance and
Well,
continues prepping food.
on the other hand, I think your cooking is quite the achievement.
Oh, I see what you did there. That's a good one.
Yes.
I'll have to use that on some ladies when we get to Mito.
Jeeves, you dog!
I'm glad to see you're still on the market.
Well, I'm not dead yet.
We haven't gotten to me, though.
Soon. It's just about 3 days, 4 days away. But the horses are nice and refreshed. This was a pleasant find.
Yes, that is a word for it. Not a correct word, but it is a word.
Well, let's get a move on.
All right,
Yes.
well, I'll be reading on the back of the wagon.
Alright, give me your checks. Arcana for Kadir, wood carvers for Trace, and then the
Nice.
intelligence for Krev if you're reading.
Yes. Rebel guidance.
And let me. So I know we're getting close to the end, so let me roll for random encounters. Okay. So
Did not include my guidance. That was weird.
with the 3.5 days, we'll make it just outside of Mito, and as like you guys kind of like meet the road, eventually making out of the desert within a day and a half from your previous location. Can each of you go ahead and give me Krev, I assume you're gonna sleep every night, so you can give me 3 more intelligence checks. Trace and Kadir, or Trace, you can give me 3 as well, and Kadir, you can do the 6.
Is it? Got it. Oof. So I nat 1, but it still might be a 10 if I roll high enough on the d4.
Wow, I'm getting good rolls, yeah.
Well,
It's
Kadir,
a
you
9.
actually don't have that much more time left, so let me
Holy fuck.
Actually, I'm just gonna roll a bunch of.
All right, I'm gonna actually calculate all these like off stream because I'm gonna need to do a little bit of math.
Yeah, I got 22, 22, and 24, so I can't complain.
Yeah, I got 18, 24, and 14.
Okay, so let me look at traces real quick.
22, 24, 24.
Yep. Quite good. And that will be okay. Kadir.
Actually, finish it within the next day.
Yeah. Let me just make sure. I do need a D6 on the first night when you're reading it after the full day. And you just can't focus. Your mind is somewhere else. And that night, you just can't get anything comprehended. But with your next check, you're fine. You'll be completed.
During the course of these days, what I'm assuming you would all notice at some point is that I've ceased sleeping entirely.
Trace would probably know because he doesn't sleep either. But yeah.
And Krev, with yours, you're all good, and your book on the spiders will be completed. The last thing I need from each of you guys on the night before each of you get here is just a wisdom saving throw from each of you. And then this is where we'll end up.
Ugh. I don't like wisdom saving. Well, I'm okay with wisdom saving throws.
Okay. Nice. Who are we missing? There it is.
Ooh.
Well, you all
I'm wise.
you all do succeed. Make sure I have the date right for everybody. So on the night of April 11th, each of you begin hearing a ping, ping, ping sound coming from Trace's area, and then each of you begin to feel looming eyes above you that night. But as each of you look up in the direction from where you feel the sight, you quickly catch a glance of what appears to be pupils vertically slit in the eyes that are yellow in the iris color, and quickly fade as it feels that you've made a brief eye contact. But other than that, on the morning of April 12th, you will all make it just outside of Mito.
That's Guido. Where exactly are we on the map?
So you're right here. Just north of where Mito is.
Right.
So with that, we'll call it as each of you begin to see like the city walls and the outlines, some of like the farmlands of the vast city of Mito as you kind of lay your eyes upon it for the first time as it glimmers in the morning sun. And Kadir, I guess you'd probably have a sense of feeling home. You've laid your eyes upon your hometown.
Home again, home again.
But that's where we'll call it. Just on the morning of April 12th.
Nice.
Well, other than that, anybody have anything they want to say before we get out of here?
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Yeah. Happy almost Friday.
Happy Friday Eve.
Oh, I can't wait. Work almost gave us a bad weather day, basically, and then I was like, oh, crossing my fingers. I would have loved to got to stay home and not use any PTO. Would have been dope.
But you got to hit them targets, though.
Yeah, I'd rather get my bonus.
Exactly.
Nice.
But, well, if no one has anything that they'd like to say, Hip Hop Okage was your DM for the evening. Hope everyone enjoyed tonight's session and had a good time. Other than that, affiliates up in the top left corner, Ninja Monkey Discord server promoting streamers and giving a hell of a lot of love from their community and always showing support for their members. It's a great community to be a part of. The same going for Heroes Wanted Discord server, mainly more focused on tabletop games, but that's fine. I guess you gotta show love for these tabletops. And Sword Coast Soundscapes for the music tonight. And other than that, we have 2-minute tabletops for the map and map assets and the logo that was revealed on Tuesday. Some art from Lady Lockers, and more art is literally coming out every day and being added. There was some nice player art that came out for Tuesday. I'll share it with you guys off stream, but I can't wait to start seeing the rest of the players get their stuff in. Other than that, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Raven's Nest, as they have been corralled by lava into a portal to another plane of existence. So we'll have fun with that. Can't wait.
Sounds like a good time.
But everyone have a good night and have a good week.
Take care.
See
Thanks
some
for
of you
watching.
tomorrow, hopefully. Bye.